Hey, what's up? Check the upper right corner of the screen. It's Ken. I'm doing a critique today. I'm looking over Michael Brown's video and trying to help him out. He submitted a video asking why he keeps catching the chain of his figure eight wrist rolls. So without further ado, let's just take a look and see what we got. I'm going to make him a little bit bigger here, make myself a little bit smaller.
And that's how I end up with a chain like that.
Okay.
Now, I have caught it before.
I'm going to turn this down. Okay, so right now he's in rip mode. Now, if you look right now, if he were to do rips, it would be very straight because the way his arms are facing in the chucks, it would be very straight in accordance to his body. Now, let's see if it looks just as straight when he starts doing his wrist rolls, which is my guess is that's what's happening. So as you can see over here, it's crossing over to the left side of his body. His right hand crosses over to the left side of his body, like so, almost like there's a circle that's happening right here. Okay, now let's check and see exactly how straight it looks on the other side. And keep playing this here. Pause it. Okay, now as you can tell right now, this release already I can see, instead of creating a similar circle on the other side, which would be right here, it's actually going kind of diagonally this direction. So what we have is, we have this here, and then this right here. This is kind of the figure, and then he's gonna create them together, which connects into a figure eight. So his figure eight looks kind of like this. Whereas where you'd wanna probably try to figure eight it would be about right here. If he was doing one over here, it's gonna cross over this direction, just to keep it nice and straight. Instead though, it's coming up to here and over. So I think that's probably gonna be part of the problem. It's gonna be a little overarching. The planes are gonna be a little bit off. It was over here, he went to his right and he crossed over to his left. But as soon as he went to his right, his hand moved from here all the way up to here. So as he was going behind himself, not only was he losing a lot of the force because he was carrying his hand up high, he would have had to give it a little bit harder for a swing, but he was also moving diagonally instead of that same horizontal motion. So it didn't quite match. So you want to make sure that those circles match. I'm going to try this one more time. So boom, boom. You can see that one right there is the circle again. If I was to draw the circle, the first one is making a circle here, and then if we were to continue on to see where the next circle connects, it's right there. So the second circle is moving this direction. So as you can see, the figure eight is kind of creating an awkward flow, because it would have to travel in this way, which is kind of bent, you know, as opposed to a standard, you're gonna create two circles here and then you connect the bottoms and the tops together. That would be more of a straight figure eight. So, like I said, what was happening right now is he was crossing over his body over here, but then when he was moving up, he was going kind of diagonally up here. That is a very strange pull. What we want to do is kind of straighten it out. So if you want, you can even stand sideways and start just cross your body like this. So I'm kind of spinning the chuck in this almost like a T-like fashion. It kind of makes the letter T, or an L, I guess. So I'm standing here, and I'm creating the L, and then as soon as it rolls past 12 o'clock, my hand is just going to reach out and it's going to intercept it. So becomes a front to back roll. So I'm spinning this way, my hand comes over to intercept it. This is going to be a very tight figure eight wrist roll, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to swing it over behind us. So it's coming from the back, but give it a few rotations like this first before we do it. So again, we're going to give it a few rotations here. And then I'm just going to open up my hand and let it roll. If I'm to stand here, it's going to look like this. I'm right here, and then I open my hand and let it roll. So I'm spinning it here. As soon as this one's at 12 o'clock, I'm opening my hand and letting it roll. Here, whoosh. And then it's going to cross over to the back like so. The reason why I'm having you do this is so you can create a very flat circle. Do you see how straight that circle is? And then if you go over here, do you see how straight that circle is? That's going to be a really good figure eight, at least in terms of how it's going to look. That's kind of, I think that's the big issue right now, is the way that it's being released. It's not straight. So like you have a circle happening here and then you have a circle happening over here. And that's kind of what's causing it to go lopsided. Now you can pull this off, but you have to create extra force when you're coming up this direction. If you put equal amounts of force, it's not going to quite work so well. So that is my goal, my recommendation to you right now, is just to work on those planes and make sure that both circles are symmetrical. Because if you're not, it's going to cause slippage depending on how much more force that it has to make up for each side. Again, if you spin with a little bit more force on another side, if it's lopsided, you can make up for that. But until you know how to feel that, I think symmetry is the way to go.